Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video doing JMA Friday. As always on a Friday, we have a look at the month ahead with Japanese and CFS V2 models. This takes us into the middle of June, so we're beginning to head in towards summer with this update. We'll start off looking at the JMA, then we'll have a look at CFS V2, see if we can get a consensus for the way forward for the next month. Later on today, we will be having a update for the late spring bank holiday weekend. That'll be around 7 o'clock this evening on the late spring updates page. So we're going to start off with the 500 millimeter heights broken down into weekly pairs, looking from the northern hemisphere view down. So this is the North Pole just here, mid-latitudes round here, and the British Isles is just there. Blue extrapolates low pressure, yellow, orange, red, bright colours to high pressure. So this is the anomaly for the next week. This takes us from the 19th to the 26th of the month. We've got a ridge to the north, and we've got low pressure down to the south. So we've got quite a blocking feature up here. This area of low pressure is undercutting the block a little bit, probably bringing some unsettled conditions. We've also got this ridge down to the south, quite a complicated pattern actually. So these two ridges could sort of get together and block this low pressure up, but I think overall this low is probably, the trough is probably coming in through the gap, bringing somewhat unsettled conditions. Now we go through to week 2. This is the 26th of May to 2nd of June. It all gets much simpler then. So essentially what happens is that the trough deepens and pushes in from the Atlantic, so that just looks very unsettled. Low pressure is coming in from the west. We've got high pressure up here around Greenland, but the main thing is that it's unsettled, that with low pressure moving in from the Atlantic, quite unsettled indeed. And this continues through into June actually. This is the anomaly, the 2-week anomaly from the 2nd to the 16th of June, when we've just got low pressure dominating really, and the jet stream is coming in off the Atlantic. So that looks unsettled as well. The JMA looks like it's going to quite an unsettled June, to say the least. Let's have a look at the mid-latitude and tropical view in terms of temperature and precipitation. So British Isles just here in the top right-hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it. Reminder of the 500 millimeter heights of the coming week, 19th, 26th of May. We've got the ridge to the south, we've got low pressure in the Atlantic, high pressure is up here. It looked like that low pressure was moving in through the gap. So the temperature, precipitation anomaly I should say, first of all, is coming out a little bit above average, especially so for the north for the coming week. So it is going to be quite an unsettled week ahead. Temperature anomaly, that comes out near normal to maybe ever so slightly milder than average. So fairly mild but unsettled in the week ahead. Week 2, which is the 26th of May, 2nd of June, just looks very unsettled with low pressure driving in from off the Atlantic rather like that. You expect it to be unsettled. The model is going for a significantly wetter than average week as we end or run up to the end of May. Temperature anomalies, and nothing to write home about, close to average, perhaps a little bit above average, but overall not a particularly big deviation. And then weeks 3 and 4, which takes into the middle part of May, we go from the middle part of June, takes us from the 2nd through the 16th of June. We have low pressure driving in off the Atlantic like that. So it's a wetter than average couple of weeks again there as we're going through into the middle part of June. And the temperature anomaly is still stuck close to average to ever so slightly above. So it's not seeing anything particularly exciting with the temperatures. They're close to average, possibly a little bit above. That might be the bias within the model. If nothing else, they are a little bit biased onto the warmer side. So just close to average temperatures. It's really the unsettled signal that is quite evident there with the JMA. It does look really very mixed through into June. What about CFS V2? These are 500 millimeter heights again, broken down into week periods. The first week period taking us from the 19th through to the 25th of May. We find we've got above average heights to the north, below average heights underneath it. So it looks quite unsettled actually with the flow coming in something rather like that. Week 2 looks like this. This is the 26th of May to the 1st of June above average heights out to the northwest, below average heights to the south and also to the east. That blocking feature is probably bringing quite cool air in from the north. And also this trough is probably bringing unsettled conditions mostly through to the south as well. Week 3, this takes us from the 2nd to the 8th of June. This looks very unsettled with low pressure in the Atlantic running through the UK and into the continent as well. So that looks really very unsettled indeed. We've got blocking going on up here as well. That's a pretty poor week there through early June. And then week 4, which takes us from the 9th to the 15th of June. Again, it's low pressure out to the west. High pressure is trying to build down across Spain and Portugal. But really, that still looks quite unsettled, actually, with low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. So it looks like, really, the details are ever slightly different, but it looks like broadly the JMA and CFS V2s are in agreement here with pretty unsettled conditions as we're going through into the early part of June. Temperature anomalies for the week ahead, they're coming out a little bit warmer than average in the north, near normal down across England and Wales. Week 2 temperature anomaly, it actually looks quite warm for the north, a little bit cooler than average for England and Wales, perhaps surprisingly. Week 3 temperature anomaly, again it's fairly warm out to the northwest of the country, but for the UK itself, close to average, possibly a little bit cooler than average, if anything, for England and Wales. And then week 4 temperature anomaly taking us into the middle of June, coming out close to average, maybe a little bit on the milder side. Not a big deviation with either of these models in terms of temperatures for the next month. Precipitation anomalies finally, so the coming week of CFS V2, overall it's a little bit on the wetter than average side, and again especially so for England and Wales. The week 2 precipitation anomaly, that's coming out drier than average in the north, near normal elsewhere. The week 3 precipitation anomaly is wetter than average, and the week 4 precipitation anomaly is coming out wetter than average in the north and near normal elsewhere. It's a mixed bag with JMA Friday today, but I think what we can take from this is that it looks like it's an unsettled month ahead overall. There will be dry periods, of course, but it looks like overall it's a fairly unsettled period ahead. Temperatures are signalled to be quite close to average, not a huge deviation either way. It's really the overall patterns which do look quite changeable, and the precipitation anomalies, which are, particularly as we get into June, coming out quite wet. That indicates these long-range models today are forecasting quite an unsettled and changeable start to the summer. Now, of course, with long-range forecasting, it's always highly experimental. These models are pushing the boundaries of what is possible. They could look very different if we was to look at them tomorrow. We won't look at them tomorrow, but they could look different if we was to look at them tomorrow. So don't necessarily be all that concerned if you've got anything planned for June. But it is today, the snapshot of JMA Friday is for quite an unsettled June. Right, that's it. We'll be doing the weekend broadcast tomorrow, and also it's a CFS 6 months look ahead. That really is just for fun, going 6 months out with the long-range CFS V2 model. So come back for those updates tomorrow. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.